Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. So today we are going to start the next part of the central nervous system, and that is spinal cord. In previous lecture we have studied the brain, that was the first part of the central nervous system. So for today that is spinal cord. This is the second part of the central nervous system, spinal cord. Okay, in the previous lecture you have studied a lot about brain. The brain, that is forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. In hindbrain, let's suppose that this is the brain, and this is the hindbrain. In the hindbrain there was a portion or part that is called medulla oblongata. So this is medulla oblongata. Now what is spinal cord? What is spinal cord? Spinal cord, actually this is the elongation of the last part of the hindbrain, and that is medulla oblongata. So the elongated part, this is the elongation of this medulla oblongata. So this is elongated part that run in the vertebral column, in the vertebra. This is spinal cord. This is spinal cord. This is, you can also see there in the animated diagram. So the spinal cord, the shape of the spinal cord. What is the shape? The shape of the spinal cord, that is tubular, tube, and the size that vary to person height. So the height of this, the size of this spinal cord, it depends on the height of the person. Now come toward the protection of the spinal cord. Protection is this brain that was protected in the skull, inside the skull bone. Similarly, this spinal cord, it is protected by bones, small bones, and these bones are called vertebra, and these are the small vertebra that surround this spinal cord, and it forms a column, and that column is called vertebral column. So this is vertebra, and it forms a column shape, and that is called vertebral column. And inside that vertebral column, the spinal cord is present, and that is protected. So that was the protection of the spinal cord. Now come toward the function, that what is the function of the spinal cord. Function of the spinal cord. Function is brain. Brain consists of neurons. Neurons are the structure and function unit of the nervous system. That will be our next lecture. Similarly, this spinal cord, inside the spinal cord, also the neuron cells are present. So the function of this spinal cord, that it take impulses message from the other body, lower body region, from left side and right side, and convey it to the brain. The brain analyzes that stimulus and impulses and then give order to the effector or muscle, and the order that is taken from the brain by the spinal cord, and then that order is given to the lower body region. So that is the function of the spinal cord. Is the nucleus of the neuron cell, they are present in the spinal cord. So if the spinal cord is damaged, so it during accident or some injuries, so it can also cause paralysis. So this was about the spinal cord, and that is the second part of the central nervous system. Now our next topic, that is the second component of the nervous system, and that is peripheral nervous system. So peripheral nervous system. So peripheral nervous system, this is the second component of the nervous system. So peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system. It is also called PNS. Actually, peripheral nervous system, this is a network of nerves, and these nerves arise from the brain and spinal cord, and they connect different body parts with the central nervous system to the brain and spinal cord. So that network of nerves, that is called peripheral nervous system. So how we will define peripheral nervous system? This is actually a network of nerves that arise from brain and spinal cord, that connect different body parts with central nervous system, and it is brain and spinal cord. So the network of nerves that is scattered throughout the body, that network of nerve is called the peripheral nervous system. Let see network through a diagram. So let's suppose that this is the brain, region, and this is the spinal cord, the head region, head. Spinal cord. Okay, so from the spinal cord, as well as from the brain, the nerves are arise in the form of network, and these are these nerves in the form of network. These nerves, they are arise from the spinal cord, and they are scattered throughout the body. You can also see that in their diagram. There is a neat diagram. Okay, then these nerves are then divided into two groups. One is called cranial nerves. Cranial nerves. Cranial nerves, these are the nerves that arise from the brain, and there are 12 pairs of the cranial nerves. So these nerves, you can see here, these are the cranial nerves, and these cranial nerves, they arise from the brain, and they connect different head region with the central nervous system to the brain. So what are cranial nerves? Cranial nerves, the nerves that arise from brain, and they connect head region parts like this oral cavity, the nose, eyes, etc. So these organs are present in the head region. So they connect the head region parts with the central nervous system, and that is brain. And cranial nerves, there are 12 pairs of the cranial nerves. So these nerves are in pair, 12 on one side and 12 on other side. So these are the cranial nerves. The spinal nerves, these nerves, as the name indicate, these nerves are arise from spinal cord. So these are the cranial nerves, and now the spinal nerves. Spinal nerves are those nerves which are arise from spinal cord, as you can see here in this diagram, also in that diagram. So these are the nerves that arise from spinal cord. And connect lower body region mean this is thoracic cavity or chest cavity, these arms, forelimbs, it's also called forelimbs, abdominal cavity, lower limbs, legs. So all these are in the lower body region, below head region. So they connect lower body region with the central nervous system, and that is spinal cord. And there are 31 pair of nerves or spinal nerves. They are arising from 31 pairs are spinal nerves. They arise from the spinal cord. Now these nerves then further categorize into sensory, into motor, and mixed nerves, and inshallah that we will discuss in the next lecture, that what are sensory nerves and neurons, what are motor nerves and neurons, and mixed or associated neurons, etc. So thank you very much, and inshallah in the next lecture the topic will be neuron.